When I shared this look on my Instagram account this morning, and if you didn't know, I always post my makeup of the day on there. When I shared it, I got a lot of comments saying, "That's really different for you, Katie," and I completely agree. I am so out of my element with this makeup look. I don't have anything deep to smoke out my look, and I don't have any wing liner on, and I'm just like, I feel like a fish out of water, but hey. That's what makeup's about, at least for me. Like to try new things every now and then, and this is me trying a very different look, but we're just gonna roll with it. It's just reminding me why I like my wing liner, because I have very downturned eyes, so I feel like whenever I don't wing out and really uplift my eyes, it just accentuates how downturned my eyes really are. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. Today we're going to be talking about my monthly favorites and fails video. Now usually I do these in 2 separate videos, or I should say in the past I've done these in 2 separate videos, but since I'm cutting back on the amount of videos I upload in a month, and also I didn't try that many new products this month, I decided to combine them into one video, which I'm going to share with you today. We're still going to be doing a countdown fashion in a pyramid shape where I start from the bottom and work my way all the way up to the top, but since we're combining them, we're going to start with number 10, the worst product that I tried this month, and then work my way all the way up to number 1, which will be the best product, or the one that impressed me the most that I tried out from this past month. And per usual, I always credit down below, and I tag the creators who inspired me, but I'll go ahead and put them over here if you want to know. It's Jen Loves Reviews and Thrift Thick, who both do their monthly kind of favorites and fails video in this kind of countdown pyramid, working your way up to the top number 1 spot every month, and I enjoy it so much. So they are the people who inspired this video on my own channel. So yeah, with that intro out of the way, let's jump right in and start with the worst product that I tried this month. Okay, so the first one actually isn't a new product. This is the only one that I'm kind of revisiting, but it is the PIXI and maryamnyc. This is called the Highlight and Contour Palette. This I wasn't expecting to really feature at all. I just wanted to use it again because it's down here with all my other face palettes, and I never think to use my face palettes. I just put on nails yesterday and now I can't open anything. It's this little guy right here, and I picked it because it has so many kind of bronzing contour shades in this kind of face palette, and I like to have options when it comes to contouring and bronzing. But as I used it this past month, I liked it less and less. Let's just say I was not impressed. This contour shade right here is kind of, I think it's supposed to be a luminous, but basically it just has shimmer in it. And this one's very cool tone, which I like. This one's a little dark for me, but I can get it to work for bronzer. And then the blush and highlight. The highlight's a bit dark. The blush is very luminous if you like that. This is a banana shade that I just don't get much use out of. But the reason I'm putting it in as the number 1 fail from this month, which is kind of harsh, but this thing is hard to blend. And I know this is well, it's not even drugstore. It's like pricey drugstore. But these contour shades, anytime I had to use this to put on my face, I had to be so careful how much I picked up, and then I kind of had to swirl on my hand before going on my face, because if I went straight from in here to my face, it would just stamp down initially and then not want to move. And I was like, hello, can we blend out here? It was not easy to work with. I use this shade the most because it is the nice contour. It's like kind of my favorite when it comes to a cool tone contour. But I use this a good bit too, and I tried to be so careful. I even started mixing this in just to help with the blend. I thought maybe it's being so difficult because it is so dark. All these powders are just really difficult to blend. The highlight is probably the saving grace for me, but even then, it's not that impressive of a highlight. If you can see, the blush is okay, but it's not the most pigmented blush in my opinion. If you like the Milani Luminoso, that's kind of what it reminds me of. So then I would say just pick up Milani Luminoso and then like the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer, and you'll be doing your face in half the time anyway, just because this was so difficult to blend. And then even when I used the blush, it just took a lot to build it up and really get it noticeable. It kind of just gave that sheen. If you like that sheen, then you know, maybe you'll like this. But the fact that the contour and bronzer shades were so difficult to work with and so difficult to blend out really just kind of sealed the deal in my opinion. And I was just like, why am I bothering? And after using this on and off, I can't even remember how many times I used this. I was just like, why am I bothering, Katie? Just put it away and mention it in your fails video, and that is what I'm doing today because I just don't want to ever use it again. Maybe it's just old. I don't know. It says 18 months. I feel like it's probably been longer than 18 months, but I do have older powders in my collection than that, and they aren't half this hard to blend, so whatever the case is, I did not enjoy using it this past month. Next up are these Hank & Henry sponges. I don't even remember like the actual names, but I got these in a BoxyCharm, and I'm just mentioning them here because I'm done using them. I've tried them a handful of times and they're just not fun to use. I kind of feel like I'm beating my face. Maybe it's because it's so large, but on top of being so large, when you get it wet, it's soft. But it's not as soft as you would think, like with, I mean, this is dry, but the Beauty Blender and even the Sigma sponge and then the Real Techniques and even some of the Morphe ones, they have a softness that when you get them wet, they just get even softer. And when you're pressing them into your face, I don't know, they have a bounciness to them. This, when I use it, I literally feel like I'm slapping my face. Like, I don't even know if you can see in the video because I'm literally just stamping. It probably looks the same as if I would stamp this, but it doesn't feel nice. And so for that reason, and also it gets so large, it makes it really hard to get into the nooks and crannies. I didn't find that it being this large helped save time because I don't have that large a face. So like, sure, this is huge, but it can do my face, and then I need to stick to the smaller side to really get around the edges and whatnot. So maybe if you have a larger face, the large aspect will be nice, but for me, the largeness didn't serve any purpose. Another aspect that I really didn't like with these sponges is I feel like it held more water than I wanted it to, and therefore kind of did some weird stuff with my foundation. I reached for a foundation that I do enjoy, is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation, and then for concealer, I used the Milani concealer. And as I was blending them in with these, it just made them a little more, I don't even know how to describe it, but almost you could tell water was mixing with the product, which it wasn't supposed to. So it definitely held onto water, even though I squeezed it. Oh, I just dropped this small sponge. Story of my life. Even though I squeezed it out as hard as I could before I got ready, and then I did my eyes and then my face. So it had at least 20 minutes of sitting on my desk to kind of dry out. Even with that, it still held too much water for my personal preference, and the fact that it was really hard and like slapping my face, I just didn't enjoy it. So that's why I'm putting it at number 9. The cutest aspect is that it has a little owl, like the Hank and Henry symbol is a little owl face. At least I think it's an owl. It looks like an owl to me. But that's the cutest aspect, and also it's neon lime green, which I really like. But besides that, that's where my likes for this product end, so it's not very practical to keep in my collection. Next up, for number 8, I have the Blinc Black Lash Primer. I got this in a BoxyCharm as well. I'm almost positive. It was in one of those kind of subscription boxes, so I decided to try it, and it works, I guess. Is that a good review? I don't even know. I think my biggest con with this, not even with it just being a lash primer, which I kind of have beef with anyway. Lash primers, I just feel like just use 2 mascaras and it does the same as getting a lash primer. But even besides that, I actually don't like the way this wand is. It's kind of curved, which I usually like the curve, but it has the spikes on the top and bottom, and then on the sides, it's completely flat. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's going to make it easier to kind of brush through, and then you can turn on the side and really push your lashes up. No, it doesn't really work like that because there's no kind of roundness to the bristles. It's very awkward to brush through and then turn on the side and use to push up. I just found myself either pressing too hard and like touching my lid and getting mascara everywhere, or just clumping all my lashes together, or it just wasn't good. Basically is what I'm trying to say. It never did a good job. Whenever I did try to use it, it just ended up clumping all my lashes together or just not transferring and getting the mascara or the lash primer onto my lashes well enough. And then on top of all that, on top of just the awkwardness of the wand itself, for me, I didn't think it did that much. Now you're gonna see in the demo video, I'm applying this primer, and then I went ahead and put this Mae Drama Queen mascara on top of this Blinc Black Lash Primer, just because the Drama Queen I wasn't very impressed with. It just kind of felt like a typical standard type of mascara to me, so I figured that'd be the best one to pair on top of a primer to see if it really did anything. And then on my right eye, you're going to see me go in with the L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara, and this is a mascara that I typically can do one and done. If I spend enough time, I can get what I want in a mascara, so I figured I'd use that on the other side. And as you can see, using the lash primer with a mascara versus using just this one drugstore mascara, I feel like look pretty similar, or honestly, personally, and maybe I'm just biased, I prefer the L'Oreal side, which is my right side, over the side where I use the Ruby Mae and the Blinc Lash Primer. And again, I might be totally biased just because I didn't enjoy using the Blinc Lash Primer, just because I kind of have that tendency towards lash primers anyway, and just not believing they really do all that much. Whatever the case is, at the bare minimum, there isn't that big a difference. So considering the lash primer is so expensive, it's so difficult to use, it's so clunky to use, and it looks the same as a like $12 drugstore mascara, I feel like that right there is explanation enough as to why I put it towards the bottom of this countdown and just kind of ranked it as a fail from this month. Okay, next up for my number 7th spot is the Butter London LumiMatte Blurring Skin Tint. Now the main reason I put it in this spot isn't because of anything against the product itself. I think the product is very nice. I kind of see it and treated it more as a blurring primer than really any kind of like skin tint or BB cream. As you can see, like it doesn't give any color. Like any color. But if you like those kind of pore filling primers, those very dimethicone silicone type of primers that really just evens out and makes your skin feel so smooth, that's what I kind of saw this as and treated it as. It works very nicely, I think, underneath makeup. It does a good job. It doesn't really hinder or mess up my makeup, but on the days when I wore this just alone, it really didn't do that much. And with that said, I feel like if you're going to go for one of these products, Personally, I would prefer to just use the Coola SPF 30. This is their Mineral Unscented Matte Tint Mineral BB Cream. That was a long name, probably all messed up. My apologies. This guy right here, because it feels the same going on. It has that same type of feel. I feel like it blurs maybe a hair more. Again, I could be biased just because I like this product, but no, it doesn't really have that much of a tint. But it has that SPF property. It has that mineral aspect to it to really do great things for your skin when you're wearing it. So I feel like if you're going to want a product like this, I would say just go for this and just get those extra benefits on top of it, as well as, yes, you get almost double the product in here. You only get 1 fluid ounce and you get 1.7 in here. That's honestly the main reason I put it towards the bottom of this countdown, is just because while it's nice, I wouldn't pay the high price tag for this, and I just feel like you could get more benefits with this. Okay, moving to number 6 in my countdown. This is actually what I have on my lashes. These are lashes in Cake Pop, and it's from Beauty by a Bird, but I've been following Makeup by a Bird for a very long time, Ashley, and she recently launched a brand, and her first thing that she launched were these lashes. Right off the bat, I have to say, I don't really know starting a brand, so maybe I'm just unaware, but when I got it, I was very confused because it says Sweet Treat Lashes, and it even has on the back, it says Sweet Treat Lashes, like the Instagram and Facebook and even Twitter handles where you can go and like follow this brand. I was very confused. She explained to me that this was like the collection was called Sweet Treats, but I just, having that information on the back, and then when I went and looked up, I just looked up Instagram. I guess I didn't go to Twitter and Facebook, but when I went to look up the Instagram account that is literally on the box, it doesn't exist anymore. And I don't know, that's a little bit weird to me because her brand isn't called Sweet Treat Lashes. But moving on past that, the lashes are nice. Are they my favorite? Not really. That's kind of why I put it right in the middle. And the main reason why is because they are rather expensive. I want to say I paid like $15, $16 for these. Now, maybe I'm just cheap when it comes to lashes, but my favorite are like Salon Perfect lashes or like Colorlit lashes, and I want to say they're all under $10. So for me, this was more expensive when I purchased it. And while they are pretty, I find them a little, now I only tried one style, but I just find the band is a little stiff. And the thing I like about Salon Perfect or even Colorlit is that the bands are very flexible and they're very thin, so it's very easy to put on and get it to mold to my eyes. Where these are, I think I had to wear them like 3 times before I felt like they were kind of bendable and I'd broken them in enough to be easier to put on. The first time I put them on, I ended up ripping them off and not even wearing them just because they were so stiff. And another aspect that I'm not the craziest about is that I have a hard time, because the band is stiff and thick, I have a hard time getting them really close to my lashes. So when I did my makeup today, one of the reasons I didn't put on wing liner is because I wanted you to be able to see kind of like what I see when I'm up close doing my makeup, and I just feel like I can't get them as close to my lashes as I would want. Now typically I feel like I don't really notice them when I do a video because I do wing liner and you can't see them when you're this far from the camera, but in person up close in my mirror, every time I would put them on, I just felt like there was such a gap that I would struggle so hard to get them close enough, and I just feel like it's because of the band being stiff and being a little thicker than I'm used to. That's why I struggled. So yeah, that's mainly why I decided to put them right in the middle of my little countdown, because they're not terrible. They're just a little bit trickier than I prefer to work with, than I'm used to working with, and they're a little more expensive than I'm used to paying for lashes. So that's kind of why I decided to put them in the middle. But I am excited for her, and I hope she continues to come out with more things. I think she came out with sponges last, so I'm curious to see if she's going to come out with a palette, because you know I'm going to be eyeing that. But yeah, for these lashes, they were nice. They just kind of hit right in the middle. They're just tricky for me to put on, so I can't envision myself wearing them a ton or ever wanting to repurchase. Okay, moving on to number 5 in the countdown. This is the Benefit, the Pore-fessional Hydrating Primer. I tried the original one years ago, and then I also tried the oily one. I forget what it was called, mattifying, but I just remember them both being fine. They were okay, nothing crazy. And this one, I just feel the same. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. It didn't do anything bad, hence why it's a little bit higher. It's like right in the middle at number 5 in my countdown. It feels really nice going on. I do like the very silky, almost skincare aspect of blending in this primer. It feels really nice and it looks nice on the skin. Like, I feel like the foundation I put on top always looks nice. Doesn't look that different if I just use this Good Molecule silicone-free priming moisturizer. No, so you could just use this and I feel like it does the same. As far as the pore filling aspect to this, I don't see anything. When I do this like on just one side and then I do nothing on the other side, there is no pore filling. And if I do this compared to my Dermalogica pore filling primer, Dermalogica wins out. So on the pore filling aspect, I definitely don't see anything. But on the hydrating aspect and just being a good kind of moisturizing agent before I put a foundation on top, I feel like it's really great in that aspect to prep my skin. But in saying that, I want to say this is like less than $20, and let's see how much you get. You get 1.7 fluid ounces, and this you get 0.75 fluid ounces, so not even an ounce of product in here. So I feel like right there, I mean, I'm just someone who I like to save a buck when I can, and for them both to do the same thing. And if I'm seeing this as a more skincare aspect, I would go with an actual skincare product, because I didn't really look to see if this actually has any kind of benefits when it comes to skin. But if we're talking about feeling alone, it's nice, it's fine, it's great, it feels nice. Like I said, it doesn't do anything weird too with a product on top. I don't notice my foundation or my makeup wearing worse with this underneath it, but at the same time, I don't really notice a big difference between these two. So that's kind of where I put it, right in the middle. It's not bad, it's not a fail for sure. Like, I'll use this product up because it's a nice product and it gives me a lot of hydration, I feel like, just like this does, but I'm never going to repurchase it because I'll just repurchase this first. Okay, so for my number 4 spot, we're getting towards my favorites. This is the Urban Decay Inked Brow Product, or pomade, or what? No, gel. Brow gel. I like this product. Now, I have it on this side. You're going to see a demo in a minute. I used a different product on this side. But anyway, I have it on this side and I like it. I like tinted brow gel, so therefore I feel like I like this product. But the thing, and the reason I put this a little bit lower than the other brow product I'm going to talk about, is because I don't understand why they use this instead of a spoolie. Explain that to me. I really don't understand. It is a brow gel, but they put a little like a brush on here. So when you're wanting to like put it through your brows, you have no spoolie to brush it out with. So every time I use this, I had to go with another brush with a spoolie to spool it out. And I feel like when I'm thinking brow gel, I'm thinking something that can tint my brows, can tint my skin, and kind of brush it out and just do a one and done. And this could never be a one and done, because when I used it, I had to have a spoolie to soften it out because it would just look so weird, because it is a brow gel. So it has that kind of, how do you describe this? You're going to see in the demo, when you put it on, it kind of clumps up. Oh, I have brow something on my forehead. My apologies.
And I know this is drugs. Well, it's not even drugstore.
Let's move on to the demo. When you put this on, you can see that it kind of clumps up. It just gathers weird. It is a brow gel product, a type of texture that I just feel like works best with a spoolie, so that you can evenly distribute it through your brows while tinting at the same time. So that's honestly my biggest kind of, oh, it just irks me so bad, because I feel like if this had a spoolie, it would be right up there with my Benefit Gimme Brow and my Thrive, oh, I forget what it's called, but it's they're kind of like their Gimme Brow. And also ColourPop has a good one as well. It would be right there with it, because it does a fantastic job at grabbing my brow hairs, tinting my brow hairs and the skin around it to fill it in, and then also a relatively good job holding them in place. Now, it doesn't do a great job because I still get the brow hairs that will turn down and whatnot, so it isn't that bulletproof, but just the fact that it has a little brush and no spoolie really does a number for me. And then also inked brow, I feel like the cool aspect to this to kind of set it apart from a typical brow gel was the fact that it could last for so long. But maybe it'll hold up. I think they said like 60 or 70 hours, and maybe it'll do that and stay in place that long if you don't take off your makeup. But if you take off your makeup every night, this pretty much came off. There was kind of no inked aspect or staining aspect or any kind of like long-term results. It didn't stain it or anything so that I could like skip on filling my brows in one day. At least for me personally, I didn't see that. I just don't get the marketing. It didn't stay once I took my makeup off. Okay, for my number 3 spot, this is the Butter London Sheer Wisdom Serum Shadow. I was super curious about this product because you guys know I like their Sheer Wisdom lip oils. And when I saw that they launched this kind of eyeshadow base product, I was super curious because I tend to really like Butter London products. They just have really great quality to their products. So I was curious. And so when they sent this over to me, I was so excited to try it. And overall, I like it. It's in the number 3 spot. So hence, I do like the product. If you like a very light layer, a very light feel to your eyes, if you don't like using concealers or something heavy like that to prep your eye because it's just too cakey, I think you will absolutely love this. And some days, I don't know, concealer I've just been using less and less because I just don't like that really cakey look, especially around my brows. Anyway, if you're like that, I think you will love this because this blends out to feel absolutely beautiful. Like it's just so lightweight you don't even feel it. The con of that is that it's a very light tint to your eyes, so it doesn't do as much as a concealer would and really blanking out your eye and like covering your veins and stuff like that. But if you don't care about that, you may really like this because it just gives that little bit of coverage, that little bit of tact to your skin so that shadows can really hold on to it. I did notice that as well. The one con for me personally, besides it not giving a ton of coverage, is that it doesn't help my oily eyelids, because I feel like whenever I use this by itself, if I didn't have any kind of eyeshadow primer underneath, my eyeshadow would start to break down throughout the day and just not look as good. But if you're someone with dry eyelids, that probably doesn't matter to you, but that's something I did notice, hence why I put it a little bit farther down on my list. It wasn't number one or anything like that, but besides that, I really do like the product. And like I said, I've been getting more into lightweight on my eyes just to keep it from looking too cakey, especially like right in here. I don't like how concealer can just really cake up, especially throughout the day, and break down and look really bad right in there. This doesn't do that because it's just so lightweight, and that's all I used on my eyes to, or not all I used, but that's all I used to like cover my eyes. I used an eyeshadow primer under this, but for color wise, that's all I used to cover my eyelid before I went on with these shadows, and I feel like it does a great job. And then I just always like the aspect, the thing I like most about like a concealer or like an eyeshadow base is that not only does it kind of conceal the veins in my eyelids, but it gives my eyeshadows a little bit of tack, a little bit of extra tack to stick to, and this does that for me as well. So overall, very impressed. Do I foresee myself repurchasing this? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see as I continue to use it. I really enjoyed it, as I just said, and I'm curious to see as I continue to use it. I definitely am going to continue to reach for it just because I like how lightweight it is, but we'll have to see if it becomes such a love that I need to repurchase it once it's empty. But overall, my first month using it, I had such a good time, was so impressed, really enjoyed just how lightweight it was on my eyelids. Okay, for my number 2 spot, this is the Mellow Brow Definer. Now this won out over the other brow product because it has a spoolie. It is on this eye. If you were curious, you're going to see a demo here in a minute, but this is my favorite type of brow product because it's a more of a chunkier type of brow product that is a triangular tip. With having such bushy brows, I just need something to kind of fill in, and then I just use the tip to maybe create a little hairs or get a little bit of a line down here to give it more of a fuller and crisper look. But besides that, I don't need much, so therefore I like the more chunkier, the triangular tips. I just feel like I tend to like how my brows look and like how it tints my lashes, or, you know, colors in my lashes. And the spoolie on the other side is really nice as well. I was very happy with how it blended out. I also like how this fills in my sparse spot over here in my brows. I have a scar there from when I fell as a kid. And overall, I just like how it looks. I like how it wears throughout the day. And yeah, overall, a really fantastic product. I kind of always hesitate, and I just don't enjoy reviewing brow products because I feel like I'm not an expert when it comes to my brows, but for what I need and what I like for my brows, which is basically just filling it in, giving a little depth up here, filling in my scar there, it does a fantastic job, and I really liked it, and I'll continue to use it. Okay, so for the product that's coming in at number 1, it is the Pretty Vulgar Eyeshadow Base. This little guy here that we got in a boxy charm, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it's this little eyeshadow primer here. I do have to say that this month, nothing really overwhelmed me as being, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. This is such a favorite. I feel like most of the products, I mean, the first 2 were definitely duds. This is definitely a win, but everything else in there was just, everything in the middle was just like, either kind of bad or kind of good. So overall this month, there was nothing that blew my socks off or just revolutionized my makeup routine, or, you know, was just such a new and innovative product in my collection. So I know this is kind of boring to put as my number 1, but it is a good product. I mean, it does a good job. I've tested it in so many different conditions, outside sweating all day, with eyeshadow bases on top, with just this there. I've tried it so many times, and I feel like overall, maybe there was one day that I was like, it's not holding up that well. Overall, this does a fantastic job. If you have very oily eyelids, it does a great job at prolonging the wear of your makeup. Now, this isn't a product that gives any kind of coverage, so when you put this on, it just gives you a very sticky base and just ensures that the oils in your skin don't mess up your eyeshadow products, which is very important. And even on the days when I do a concealer for my eyeshadow base, I always go in with some type of eyeshadow primer because I need to make sure my oils don't come through and ruin my makeup. So this does a great job. Does it take the place of like my Lorac primer? No, I still like my Lorac behind the scenes eyeshadow primer. That will always have my heart. But as far as like the Milani eyeshadow primer or even the Smashbox, I feel like this does a really good job. It's a really solid product, and it made number 1 for me this month as being the number 1 product and the most favorite of the products that I tried this past month. Alright, so there you have it. That is my countdown. Before you click away though, I do want to say really quick that I am going to be having a new upload schedule for the month of July. So if you're about to click away, hang on for a couple more minutes and I will explain it really quick. This past month I did something different and was uploading Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and that worked relatively well. The only issue that I had for me personally was it was very difficult to upload both Saturday and Sunday while putting in the extra work with the editing and whatnot behind the scenes. So for this month, I'm going to try something different and upload every other day. We're going to try it for this month and see how it goes. And then also I'm going to be uploading differently. Instead of uploading in the evenings, I'm going to be uploading at 11 a.m. CST, which is noon EST if you're in EST. So yeah, big changes coming up this month as far as my upload schedule. It's going to be every other day, 11 a.m. CST. And I hope being able to do it earlier in the day, I'm able to kind of be there more when my video first uploads, because that's the only downside of uploading in the evening. Around that time, I'm usually so busy doing dinner, cleanup, bedtime, and stuff like that that I'm not really there. So I wanted to try a kind of mid-morning because that tends to be when I have the most kind of quiet. My kids are playing, they're all happy, they're not kind of tired, overtired and annoyed at each other. So I feel like I have the most time to reply back and just be able to be there while my video is up and maybe even do some premieres. Let me know if you guys like YouTube premieres because I've been toying with maybe doing one, like 1 or 2 a month or something like that. But yeah, that's going to be my new upload schedule for July, every other day at 11 a.m. CST. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Levi is awake, so I'm going to make this outro very short and sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. If you want to continue to get content from me on the days that I don't upload or just to get informed when a new video goes live, follow me over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I upload about every day. But yeah, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry to rush this outro, but little man is hungry. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.